It's 17, no, show, don't tell, there we go, 17 degrees, I'm cold, although I have had breakfast, so I'm not too cold, and I decided, hopefully you can't hear it, because if you can't hear it, that means the algorithm can't hear it, but I'm listening to some hot Caribbean music to warm myself up on this chilly day. I'm listening to, what's it called? Classic Calypso Soca, because I want to go on the soca train with Maximus Don. Soca train, be a soca train. Look, this stuff. Look at that. See that? It does not burn. It's not aluminium foil. I refuse to accept that's aluminium foil. If it was aluminium, see, this was aluminium. This burns. I didn't put that hole in there. The fire did. The kitchen foil does not burn. Therefore, kitchen foil, not aluminium. Oh man. Okay, so breakfast this morning was fried chicken and mashed potato, and it was also very early because nobody else was awake. So I had all the kitchen to myself, which was a pleasure. And I'm cooking the chicken. Everyone else is getting roused by the smells of cooking, and they're like, "Why are you frying chicken at this hour?" And I said, "Because I'm hungry. I went to bed hungry, knowing that I was going to have fried chicken, and I said I was frying chicken today." So everyone else is having their breakfast of soggy cereal and milk, and it's like, there's delicious fresh chicken here with chili and nutmeg and pepper and Lowry seasoning salt. No, I don't use seasoning salt, but I did use salt, so in effect it is seasoned salt, which I can just imagine Guy Fawkes now will just be like, "Oh, typical Eritrean, he seasons his food with Maggie." It's like, no, I didn't use Maggie, although I would use Maggie. For those not aware, one of the most popular seasoning blends in West Africa is, well, most of Africa in fact, actually, is Maggie. It's a vegetable bouillon with monosodium glutamate, which actually, it's not too bad. It is excitotoxic. You eat too much of it, you get shaky hands. Same with aspartame, which you find in Diet Coke and other diet sodas. But in itself, not too bad. You do get other glutamates, although I don't know if it's monosodium or not, in tomatoes. So you know when you get like sun-dried tomatoes and they got that lovely savoury taste, what the Japanese call umami, that is that's the glutamates you're tasting. Really nice stuff. Marmite, you get it in Marmite, you get it in cheese, you get it in smoked and dried meat. So good quality ham's got glutamate in it. So that just monosodium glutamate on its own is a bit like refined sugar. You know, you get sugars in all sorts of food, and there's nothing wrong with eating them. But if you eat a pound of refined white sugar, then you're going to get messed up. Although, did you know the human body, I think it can process something like 71 kilograms of... No, hang on. It's more than 71 kilograms. I saw one of the Royal Institute lectures. There was like wheelbarrows full of it. I think they said something like 160. Like, you can eat more than your body weight of sugar in one day, and you will have enough insulin to process it. But again, it's just that thing of you won't have the actual physical stomach space to... It's basically our bodies, because of starvation are so adapted to absorbing sugar that you can, for all intents and purposes, absorb an unlimited amount of it, because it's like, oh look, those berries are only going to be good for a few days, if that. Gotta eat them whilst they're there. Gotta eat as many as possible. Or look, there's some honey. I'm just going to eat this entire hive, bees and all. Yeah, but you can absorb an incredible amount of it. I think it's phosphorus. Our body gets through 70 kilograms of phosphorus in one day, but it's all recycled, so it's, you know, you've only got a few grams of phosphorus in the body, if that. Although traces of phosphorus are excreted in piss, so I assume what that means is the body isn't 100% efficient at recycling it. Now, why am I talking about phosphorus and sugar and... Well, oh yeah, that's it, monosodium glutamate. Maggie food seasoning. I didn't use Maggie food seasoning, don't have any, but I can assure you it was chef's kiss. Yeah, it was some good stuff. Anyway, just a minute. The Sorka train was getting a bit distracting, and I didn't keep wanting to talk over it. So, oh boy, bit into a bit of undercooked chicken. I mean, the outside was lovely and crispy, but the problem with that is like, oh, that's actually quite a good insulator on a bit, and it's like, that's far too soft for chicken. Spat it out, stuck it back in the pan, and had a bit of vodka, and I just thought to myself, well, that should kill anything in my gut. Yeah, hopefully no salmonella. But yeah, that's the problem. You got the smell of frying chicken, and you're starving already before you were making it. And I must admit, I was spitting up drool into the sink because of just salivating so much, and but fortunately the hush puppies were done before the chicken. So, by the way, it's very sticky stuff, so it's very good moisturising. Actually, I must admit, I used a little bit of soap and then just put all the egg around my fingers, and very smooth. Yeah, it was nice. So the hush puppies, they're kind of like incidental towards making... Whenever you're breading something, you end up with all this sticky dough on your fingers, and it's like, well, you could flick it into the bin or sink, or alternatively, you could roll up into a bowl and fry it, and that's what I did. And it's like, yeah, that's a hush puppy, and that's very tasty because it's got egg and it's got chicken bits on it, and you know, it's a good vegetarian option is hush puppies, because you see you've got all the flavour of meat without actually having to eat the meat. I think for the same reason, if I was vegetarian, I'd have gravy with all my vegetables, so I could have all the benefits of vegetables, but all the flavour of meat. Don't worry, I'm not becoming vegetarian anytime soon. But if I was, I'd be having gravy with all my vegetables. And that means real gravy. Yep. And do you like how I managed to snuff out this fire by putting that log on? Because I sure don't. See, it's got that little flame there. Now, I've actually got an idea. This idea is also going to be quite messy. However, look, I found my vacuum cleaner. So what I was going to do, right, this bit's going to get noisy, and for that I apologise. What if I put my thumb over the microphone? So I'm going to put my thumb on the microphone now, and hopefully everything should be muffled. And now I'm going to turn this on. Right, so that does work. However, these embers aren't actually touching anything, so I need to get this. I need to fix this sharpish before the embers get snuffed out. How can I be so... You've seen me making fires now for a number of times, so you know I can do it, but how is it I can be so stupid about fire? I mean, I know I'm drunk, but that's hardly an excuse. So, I'll put that there and put that there. I'll have to show that to my dad, actually. Right, so again... I am too premature. Oh my god, I've snuffed it out! What an idiot am I? I've basically wasted a firelighter doing that. Because I'm an idiot. I'm a bloody idiot. I'm drunk and full. It's too idiotic. And the other thing is I actually have some more chicken frying away, but I have it at very low heat. Someone in my family's not yet awake, and I want them to have something nice and warm to eat for breakfast. Right, let's try again. Okay, lesson learned. Don't be premature with the logs. It's not necessary. Oh god, I'm full. I made mashed potato along with the fried chicken, and I'm absolutely stuffed to the gills. Yeah. Right, so put this there like so, and yeah, round 2 of making a fire because I snuffed the other one out. You see, this is why I wish I had a bigger stove, because if I had a bigger stove, what I'd be able to do is I'd put, like, I'd put a log there and a log there and a log there if there was room, and then what I'd do, you see, is I'd have this kindling on top of the log, so there'd be like a you know, V-shaped valley between the 2 logs and the kindling inside, and then you get a nice little burn going on. And it burns and burns, and then all the logs are catching. And then what you can do is you can squish the two logs together so they go like that. And then you put another log on top of them, and then you'd have a nice triangle of fire. But as you can see, this stove, a bit too small. And that's why it's really suitable for coal, because you're supposed to like stick a couple of logs in. As you can see, I've got more than a couple of logs. Stick a couple of logs in, and when the logs are burning, when you've got that little V between them, you just put a layer of coal on that, and then the coals get going, and then you put more coal on that. But thing is, excuse me, this stove, especially with coal in it, easily outputs more than 6 kilowatts of heat. Easily. And it's quite a small room. And yesterday, just on the wood alone, it was getting up to 28 degrees. And if I had coal, it would probably be, you know, mid-30s. And don't get me wrong, I quite like those temperatures, but that's the sort of point where you don't want to wear clothes anymore, or at least I don't. And the rest of the house is still in the low 10s, if not single digits, so it's a bit of a contrast. It actually felt like a physical, I was going through a physical barrier last night as I came out of my 28-degree room into the 10-degree, and just like watching all the breath coming out like steam, and it was like, oh god, roll on spring and summer, eh? But yeah, Coal with this would easily heat up a room twice, if not 3 times the size. But as it is, I just use wood. Wood is cheaper. There's far less ash to deal with. And yeah, less ash, less fuss. And you can also, I mean, if you want to, you can wrap up a potato in some kitchen foil, because the kitchen foil doesn't bloody burn, as we can see there. In fact, I ought to take that kitchen foil out, because it's just going to block up the air vents. And yeah, just stick a spud in there and it will cook, and you know, it'll be wood, so it'll be quite tasty. I mean, I think smoked in wood is very nice. There's this thing as well. You may notice I'm being a bit more wordy than I am in some other things, because as they say, alcohol's it's a social lubricant. And last night there was we're all having a chat last night. It was after the show 14 Words, which was about radio interference. But, excuse me, I am full. And yeah, there was a lady came into the voice chat and she was like, listen, listen, listen. And I said, why is it that drunks, they always preface whatever statement they're making with listen? And the thing is, drunks are speaking so quickly anyway, you can really get a word in edgeways, and if you try and interject, they get upset, because it's like, oh, why are you stopping me talking? It's because I thought this was a valuable social insight, you see, and therefore I had to interject. Oh, speaking of interjecting, I'll have to do it as a YouTube post, because a picture describes 1,000 words, but it's like, it is the supreme example of autists not understanding social cues, and it's done as a comic strip, and just imagine, like, your best mate. He's going on the he's getting married, and he's on the aisle, and it's only when he's in the aisle you stop him. He's got his bride, his wife to be, in tow. And you start telling him that you have autism spectrum disorder, and one of the signs and effects is don't understand social cues, and I found that ironic. But anyway, I think we had Lidl last time. Let's have a look at Aldi. What is Aldi giving us? Yeah, basically, what is Aldi giving us? What delights are they enticing us with? Some glass coffee mugs, what are double walled, so you can hold the sides of them without getting scolded. A bunch of rabbit food, very interesting if you're a rabbit. Kume Fa Choi, a Chinese New Year of the rabbit. So have they got any rabbit you can have? No rabbit. You have to go to the butcher's if you want some rabbit. Wouldn't recommend it though. They're twice the price of chickens for less meat. Cleaning utensils. Yeah. Might actually have to get one of those. It's plastic rubbish, but it'll do the job. It's only a bloody bin. Those I wouldn't recommend. They're flimsy. It's like, yeah, they're £3, but if you try and store spuds in them, they're going to warp. A fridge store with colander, wow, yeah. Oh, look, a press, that's nice. 70 quid for one of those. It's a espresso maker. You can get drip coffee makers for about 20 quid. Don't need espresso. And drip coffee makers are actually very good at making coffee. Oh, we got tools. So we got a wet vacuum. Got soldering irons. A bench grinder. Oh, what's this? Multifunctional sharpener. 700 RPM max speed. Oh, 7,000. Suitable for sharpening high-speed steel drills between 3 to 13mm and straight chisel plain blades between 6 to 51mm. Includes sharpening attachments for drills, chisels and knives and scissors. It is £17. Oh. Yeah. I have knife sharpeners, and I've got decent results with those knife sharpeners, but I'm tempted. Oh, fuck's sake. I've got a belt sander with a honing strip outside in the outhouse. Why don't I actually use it like I'm supposed to? Stop being a dickhead. Sorry, my hobby is knife sharpening, and rather than actually using the tools I've got, I'd just be like, ooh, I can buy a new tool. It's just, oh, potatoes. You can make a gratin dauphinoise, or you can make smoky grilled potatoes with burnt chili, mayo and pickles. Alright, where's the meat? 900g 4-pack 30G matured rump steak, £11. Bit pricey. Sausages. Look at the photography they've done on that beef mince. Beef, like, it comes up grey, it doesn't come up brown. Or you can get chicken breast portions. Yeah, that's a very boring looking chicken. Oh. 2.5kg chicken breast Phillips. It's Phillips chicken breasts. £14 for 2.5kg. I spent £3.50 for just over a kilo of chicken. £3.50. So 2 kilos of that, £7. 3 kilos of that would be £7.50. Right, so the frozen stuff's better value for money. Baby potatoes, 69 pence. That's nothing to shout about. They've done that for a while. Lychees are nice, 90p. Bit fiddly though. Yeah, it's all right. It's nothing really amazing, but I mean, it's better than doing your shopping co-op. That's for sure. And I don't need to buy myself a knife sharpener. I have 4 knife sharpeners. I mean, the elites don't want you to know this, but the knife sharpeners in the park are free. They're called stones. I have 4 of them. No, I've got two free blocks. One's like 800 grit. Another one's 2000 grit, and that's for like doing chisels and axes and bigger things. I've got a knife sharpening jig which goes up to 3000 grit, and that's for my kitchen knives. And I've got my hobby sander, which has got a 1-inch belt, and I've got a 3000 grit band on there, as well as a leather belt, so it can be used for stropping. Because you should always strop your knives after sharpening them, because you don't want to have little burrs going into your food. It's very dangerous. You will get, if you were to consume those burrs, you could perforate your inside. So please, if ever you do sharpen your knives, well, for a start you should, because the sharp knives are safer to use than blunt knives. Please clean your knives and clear all the burrs off. You see those little honing sticks? They do the shick noise on them. Yeah, doesn't sharpen your knife, does straighten the edge, and I would recommend using them because they also deburr the knives. But really, the way I deburr is I just strop it on a piece of leather multiple times, and I run the back of my fingernail underneath, and if I can feel anything catch on the back of my fingernail, I know that's a micro burr, and then I've got to give it a bit more stropping. So yeah, some people might be a bit squeamish about the idea of running something sharp at the fingernails, but if you do it on, just the dead bit at the top, or if you grow your thumbnails out, you'll be absolutely fine. It won't cause you any injuries doing that. And it really, like, the best test for if a knife or a chisel is sharp. It's not to slice bits of paper, although I'm sure it looks very impressive. Or if you're doing it the Japanese way, you put a piece of tissue paper on it. You put a piece of tissue paper on your katana, which has been folded over 6 billion times, and then you just blow lightly on it and it separates. But yeah, the real practical test to whether the tool is good for its job is put the corner, because I don't know about you, but I certainly use the corner of my knives and not just the edge. Put the corner in your thumbnail. If it slips off, it's too blunt. If it catches, it's sharp enough. And that's a good test, that is. I suppose you could use plastic or horn to do the same thing, because it's around about the same sort of toughness. Although the reason I say thumbnail is I don't always have a piece of plastic on me, but I've always got a piece of thumbnail on me. So I just use what's to hand, really. Anyway, I've been reminded that my chicken needs to be, like, low heat, but anyway, chicken. Love that chicken from Hot Bits.